Hello, everybody. So we have T minus a couple days till we leave for Mauritius. My wife and I are extremely excited. She's never been on a plane, she's never been overseas, and very excited for her. I think she's nervous, but I told her she's going to love it. So, yeah, we're going to document everything. It's going to be like a vlog or a journal for us, so we have memories. Obviously, we would obviously like to share this on our YouTube channel, because there are a lot of things that have come up during the travel that I was actually unaware of. Some prime examples of that are when you are transitioning between Cape Town to Mauritius, you actually have to stop off in Joburg depending on the carrier, but because we're going with Air Mauritius, you have to utilize a domestic traveler or flight, and then you can go from there from OR Tambo to Mauritius specifically. So there were a couple nuances in terms of like the process of that and how that operates, and I'm specifically alluding to. So from Cape Town to Joburg, you would check your bags in. We're actually using SAA. So SAA, there is one reference number, meaning that the tickets are actually linked. So your domestic and your international flights are actually linked on one. That allows you to transition or transfer between the airlines, as far as I understand. And so I was unaware of that. If you had to get a flight, let's say you just booked Fly Safair or Lyft to Joburg, figured out your own space, made sure you had enough time, and then booked Air Mauritius from Joburg to Mauritius, which you can do. And then I found out from their website that they actually cater for a all-in-one, domestic to international. So it sounds complicated, and it is a little bit complicated, and the reason it was a little bit more complicated than necessary is based on the fact that there wasn't that much available data. And I was specifically looking for videos. So I'm going to look to highlight the specific part of the journey, which is hopefully going to make someone else's transition or interaction with this process a little bit easier, because I would have answered some of the questions I didn't have freely available after having to do a lot of research. With that being said, obviously I'm going to talk through it as we go through the airport and the process, where to go, where not to go from Cape Town International to our Tambo, and obviously onto our leg from Mauritius and on the way back. But with that being said, the top level is that from Cape Town, we have a flight at 9 o'clock, which will be with SAA, as I've alluded to, on the A320, which is perfect. It's like a domestic flight from South Africa, from Cape Town to OR Tambo, Joburg. It's about a 2-hour flight, roughly. Our flight's at 9 o'clock. We'll arrive roughly at 11 o'clock, hoping there are no delays, because our layover is not long. I think it's 2 hours max. And yeah, from there we're going to effectively have to arrive on the usual time. So it's domestic is about 2 hours before, so you should be there around 7 o'clock, which means we would have to wake up at 6 o'clock, leave it up at 6 latest, maybe even earlier than that, to get there at 7 if there is traffic. And then that 2 hours gives you enough time, because you've got to go to the check-in. Obviously locally, we're each going to have the limit on our bags, which will be 2 each, 23 kgs, and carry-on, which will be perfect. And then from there we will obviously go from SAA domestic, go through the usual security checks and all those good things. There's obviously no passport control because it's domestic, and then we will be able to transition through. So we'll probably have, I don't know, being generous, 45 minutes to half an hour in a lounge. I have access to a lounge because of my Discovery banking card, which allows me into the SAA lounge. It's a very nice lounge. I mean, even for domestic, it's very nice. I would say it's actually on par, if not better, than the international lounge that I went through, which is ironic. But yeah, it's a good product anyway in terms of the service they have and the food they have available. It has a very big area, and I will obviously take pictures of that, so that'll be good. So we'll transition through there. We'll board our flight, and then we're going to land in OR Tambo. This is the part that I was unsure of. What was going to happen with our baggage? We only have a short layover, and we have to get to our flight. I believe it is 1 o'clock for Mauritius. And that Mauritius flight, you have to obviously start boarding by 12 latest. It was an hour before. And we're landing at 11. It gives us 1 hour, which is not a lot of time. Because if you're landing at 11, it already takes 20 minutes, half an hour to get off the plane. Within 20 minutes and half an hour, you have to get through security and passport control. But it would have been a major issue if we were having to go and wait for our bags, get our bags, rebook our bags. But because it's a transition flight or a transfer flight, we effectively, as I understand it, are able to bypass that. So our bags should automatically go from SAA, offloaded and automatically loaded onto our Air Mauritius flight. I'm hoping that that happens and nothing gets lost. So we'll have to see. But that was my question. How does that operate? How would we have enough time for the turnaround if that wasn't the case? And there weren't really any definitive answers, like from SAA or Air Mauritius respectively. But in theory, I don't think anyone is going to be booking 2 hour layover flights where there was going to be so many opportunities for failure. So with that being said, I'm hoping the plan is we land, our bags get taken off and automatically get transferred over to our Air Mauritius flight, where we are not responsible for waiting for our bags and rebooking. I believe we can check in online, so we can actually bypass the whole line in Air Mauritius in Joburg, but I may need to speak to them anyway to make sure we're doing the right thing. Because as far as I know, you come through domestic arrivals, obviously, and then I believe the floor above is domestic departures, and I believe Air Mauritius's ticket counters are there. So if we are going to utilize that and we are going to go there, then we are going to be in Terminal B, which is above, and then if you don't have your ticket, you got to get your ticket. I believe because we have our reference ticket and everything sorted out, we can just go straight to the other side of the airport, which is Terminal A, the international side, where you have to go through security checks, passport control, and immigration, and all those good things. And then you should be in the international terminal in OR Tambo, and then you can take a flight on Air Mauritius through the international gate. That's as far as I understand it. I could be wrong, and this is why it was so confusing. And it seems like it shouldn't be such a big issue, but it is, because there isn't a lot of clear-cut information saying, cool, these are the 3 steps you need to do. It isn't laid out that way, and so I'm going to use this as a test bed to be able to help answer any of these questions if anyone has this route going forward, and hopefully it'll make your life a lot easier, and you can reference this going in the future. Lastly, we have the same on our way back, so we'll be traveling on the 3rd of April, we'll be coming back on the 9th of April, and then it'll obviously be Mauritius, all the way back to Joburg. I think there's a 2 or 3 hour layover, and then back from Joburg or Tambo to Cape Town International. And then it'll be, I believe, the same transition, just the opposite way. So you'll land in Terminal A, you'll come off the plane, you have to go to Terminal B for departures, and that whole story. I hope the baggage was the big question for me. That was the big problem, I guess, because of time and layovers. But in theory, because I don't think a airplane would airlines would have not thought of this. I mean, specifically based on the fact that this is what they do every day, I can't be the only one. So we'll see what happens, and it's a bit of an update on what we're going to try and achieve in our videos to come.